Okay, so let's just dive right into it. Oracle CPQ October 2024 update. Calling this one 24D
24D.
for short.
Yeah.
You sent over their what's new document,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a lot. We know it's a lot to digest.
It's dense.
So think of this deep dive as your cheat sheet. We're
Yeah.
cutting through the jargon to bring you the most impactful changes, especially for those of you looking to make this update work for your business.
Yeah, and you know what I think is really interesting about this update is that it's not just like adding new features or, making things prettier.
Yeah.
It's really a fundamental shift in how Oracle sees CPQ being used. Setting the stage for the future where it really orchestrates that entire sales process.
So less of a makeover, more of a complete rebuild.
Yeah,
I like it. And speaking of rebuilding, we got to start with the big one. These commerce process stages. Quote, agreement order. Sounds simple enough, but what's the catch?
Well, the catch is that it impacts everything. It impacts everything. So imagine you're a sales manager and you're used to that very linear process of quote to close.
Right.
Now you've got deals potentially flowing through these different stages. So you could have a quote that's waiting for approval at the same time that you've got another one that's being finalized in an agreement. This impacts workflows. It impacts who sees what, even how you think about approvals. No more accidentally changing a price on an agreement that somebody signed off on 3 steps ago.
Music to any manager's ears.
Yeah.
But let's make this real for someone who's on the front line, say a sales rep. They're on their phone, they're trying to put together a quote between meetings.
Yeah.
What's changed for them?
Oh, man. Remember how tedious it was to scroll through and try to find that same product that you use in almost every single quote?
Oh, yeah.
Well, say hello to add to transaction from favorites.
Nice.
Now you can save your go-to products and instantly add them to any quote.
Huge time saver.
Right.
And speaking of small changes that make a big difference, what about those massive files? You know, the ones that used to choke the system.
Oh, yeah, you're talking about. Yeah, so no more panicked calls to IT because a complex quote crashed in the middle of a client meeting. Now you can set file size limits and prevent those oops moments before they even happen.
A true lifesaver. And since we're on the topic of smooth sailing, it looks like collaborative quoting got a nice upgrade too.
Absolutely. CPQ 24D brings less queuing, more real-time collaboration, which means faster response times for your clients and a much smoother experience for everyone involved, especially when you've got multiple people working on the same quote.
It's like they took everything clunky about CPQ and hit the fast forward button.
Yeah.
But let's talk about something even meatier here, something that really stood out in this update.
For me, it's the revolution happening with sales agreements. We're talking about creating and managing full-blown complex agreements directly within CPQ. No more juggling separate tools or clunky workarounds.
Hold on. So does this mean that sales teams can now lock in those intricate multi-year deals with all their specific terms and conditions without ever leaving CPQ?
Yes.
Because that's huge.
It is huge, and it's not just about having a fancy template. They've introduced new attributes and mapping features that can directly impact your pricing. Imagine this. A customer signs a multi-year agreement with specific pricing terms. With CPQ 24D, every subsequent quote or order will automatically pull in those pre-negotiated terms. It's automation on a whole new level.
Okay, my mind is officially blown.
Right.
But let's get practical. How does this actually work?
All right, so it all starts with the quote for agreement attribute. Enable that, and you're basically telling CPQ this isn't just a quote. This is a sales agreement in the making. Once that agreement is approved, you have a new action. Create agreement.
And that's where the magic happens. The agreed upon pricing. It gets published to the CPQ pricing portal as a formal price agreement.
Exactly. And here's the best part. Every time you create a new quote for that customer, CPQ automatically checks for any applicable price agreements and applies the pre-negotiated terms. Talk about streamlining the sales process and building long-term customer relationships.
This is giving me chills.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah.
It's like CPQ just became your sales team's secret weapon for locking in those big wins.
Yeah.
But let's switch gears for a bit and talk about another area where 24D is bringing the heat data.
Ah, yes, data-driven insights. This is where CPQ 24D really shines, taking those powerful analytics features we've seen in previous versions to a whole new level.
You mean those features that give sales teams X-ray vision into their deals?
Precisely. Remember how you had to dig for those insights?
Right.
Well, now they're built directly into standard processes, giving sales teams instant access to crucial data points without having to lift a finger.
So no more digging through spreadsheets or relying on gut feelings when it comes to pricing and negotiations.
Exactly. Imagine this. You're putting together a quote, and right there on your screen, CPQ is telling you the likelihood of winning the deal based on similar deals in the past. It can show you how your current discounts stack up against previous wins and losses, and even suggest the sweet spot for pricing to maximize your chances of closing. Talk about powerful insights.
It's like having a sixth sense for sales.
Mm.
But we've been focusing on the big picture, and I know some of our listeners are itching for the technical details. What's got the developers buzzing about CPQ 24D?
Oh, they're definitely excited about this one. CPQ 24D introduces advanced price models, a major scripting overhaul that's going to be music to the ears of businesses with unique pricing needs.
Okay, I can already see some puzzled faces out there.
Uh-huh.
Can you break down advanced price models for those of us who don't speak fluent code?
Think of it like this. Imagine you want to offer custom discounts based on a whole bunch of factors. Maybe it's the customer's industry, the time of year, or even the weather. Or perhaps you have incredibly complex margin calculations that make spreadsheets cry. Advanced price models give you the power to build those intricate scenarios directly into CPQ, no matter how unique or complex they are.
So if your business has a pricing model that's totally out there, something other CPQ systems just can't handle, this update is basically your fairy godmother.
In a nutshell, yes! This scripting overhaul gives businesses with unique pricing requirements the flexibility and control they've been craving.
It's like CPQ just leveled up its intelligence. But you know, something that often gets overlooked in these big software updates is how well everything plays together. What about those all-important integrations? Did Oracle deliver on that front with CPQ 24D?
They absolutely did. This update is all about seamless connectivity, and there are some major enhancements, particularly with Salesforce and Oracle Commerce Cloud.
All right, let's get specific. Paint me a picture. What kind of integration magic are we talking about here?
Picture this. A customer is browsing your products online, configures a quote using CPQ, and clicks Accept. Now, with the improved integrations in 24D, that single click sets off a chain reaction. The quote data flows seamlessly into your back-end systems, an order is automatically generated, and the fulfillment process kicks off without anyone having to lift a finger.
Wow, we're talking about peak efficiency here. That kind of automation is a game changer for businesses, saving time, reducing errors, and making customers happy. It's a win-win-win.
Exactly. And it's not just about those big picture workflows. CPQ 24D also introduces new ways for systems to talk to each other. These are called REST API endpoints. This means developers have even more power to customize integrations and build those really tailored solutions.
Music to the ears of any tech-savvy listener.
Yeah.
But let's shift gears for a moment and address those who might be thinking, okay, this all sounds amazing, but we're still on an older version of CPQ. What are the risks of sticking with the old ways and not adapting to these changes?
That's a great question. While Oracle continues to support older versions, businesses that stay behind risk missing out on these significant gains in efficiency automation and that seamless connected experience that customers have come to expect.
It's like sticking with a flip phone when everyone else is using a smartphone. You can still make calls, but you're missing out on a world of possibilities.
Exactly. And the longer you wait, the bigger that gap becomes. The technology landscape moves quickly, and CPQ is no exception.
So if you're a business leader, and maybe you've been putting off that CPQ upgrade, now is the time to take a serious look at what you could be missing. But that doesn't mean rushing in blindly either. What advice would you give to someone who's ready to explore CPQ 24D and really make the most of it?
I would say first, really make sure you understand those commerce process stages we talked about. It's the foundation of this update, and understanding how those stages impact everything, workflows, approvals, even just how your team thinks about deals. It's absolutely crucial.
Yeah, it's tempting to kind of gloss over those foundational changes, but like you said, they underpin everything else.
Exactly. Once you've got a handle on that, then you can dive into those efficiency-boosting features we talked about. Things like the favorites shortcut or the file size limits. Those might seem small on the surface, but remember those small changes add up to huge time savings for your team.
And time saved is money earned, right?
Yeah.
Not to mention happier salespeople who aren't wrestling with clunky systems all day.
Exactly. Now, once you're comfortable with the basics, don't be afraid to explore some of the more advanced features, things like sales agreements or those advanced price models for complex pricing. Those are the tools that can really give you a competitive edge, but they do require a bit more know-how.
Yeah, it's like leveling up your CPQ game, right?
Yeah.
Sure, you can stick with the basic tools, but mastering those advanced features, well, that unlocks a whole new level of power and flexibility.
I like how you think. And speaking of leveling up, you don't have to go it alone on this journey. Oracle provides tons of resources to help you get up to speed on CPQ 24D. And there's a whole community of users out there who've been in your shoes. happy to share their experiences and advice.
Yeah, don't be afraid to tap into that collective knowledge. Online forums, user groups, even reaching out to CPQ consultants. They can really help you navigate those trickier aspects of the update and make sure you're, squeezing every drop of value out of it.
Couldn't agree more. This is a powerful update, but it's all about using it strategically.
Well said. Well, as we wrap up this deep dive into Oracle CPQ 24D, I don't know about you, but I'm walking away with a sense of, I don't know, excitement, maybe even a little bit of awe. I mean, we've seen how this update can streamline processes, empower sales teams, ultimately transform how businesses operate. It's a lot to take in, but hopefully we've broken it down in a way that's both insightful and, dare I say, enjoyable.
I think you nailed it. It's been a pleasure joining you on this deep dive. And, I encourage everyone listening, keep those questions coming. The world of CPQ is constantly evolving, and we're here to help you navigate it every step of the way.
And on that note, we'll sign off for today. Until next time, keep exploring, keep innovating, and keep diving deep into the ever-evolving world of technology.